ZD on Batman and Z on Wonder Woman, as is customary.
All right, right into it on Trophy's Edge, and already the battering started to come out, and Z just not having any of that retreating and just going to already give some big damage. And actually, okay, gets the whip in there. So Z already showing a lot of counterplay into the battering that we were so worried about, using the whip to negate it. Also, in this patch, it is like hittable. It was supposed to be before, but it was bugged. But now it's hittable, and there's a bit more counterplay with some disjoints to it as well.
It's a much easier tool to have to challenge, luckily, and unfortunately, there goes the cleanse. Now you have to wait for a little bit of a cooldown with that, but Amazon Shout is already at about 50%, so just a couple more challenges is going to go ahead and fill that up, and I think that's exactly what Z wants inside of this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Batman doesn't have a lot of really strong options for recovery, especially if you force them to recover low, which Wonder Woman can do with the side air knockback angle. So if you were to get that, if ZD has to touch the wall, that's a free Amazon Shout, and it's very hard to get through that.
Ooh, fantastic challenge there. Unfortunately, has to take weakened, and that is going to matter, especially when we get challenged. Fantastic down air, but as you can see, Z wasn't 100% certain as to whether or not that would actually knock them out. So just follow up. Fantastic follow through by Z.
Yeah, that dodge meter is getting pretty low. ZD has an opportunity to get in there with some big damage. That does just that with kind of the skipper on the down attack right there. Interesting stuff, but grappling is going to connect. Z just holding away, not having any of that. ZD having a hard time getting in to find the whip punch, but finds that down air, gets that stock off the top, and now we got the bomb, now we got the batarang. Bomb's not going to come into play though, so ZD has to retreat back a little bit, but Z not having any of that. Already starting to swing for the fences, but you're going to have to DI that string in to not get hit, or not get hit off stage, and now that's going to be oodles of damage, 2 hits with up air, 1 stack of weaken. That's going to be a big opportunity for ZD to get in there and get some work done, but Z's not having any of that right now, Sharpie.
Not at all. Now, honestly, I really am a big fan of the speed at which Z is going and moving forward to stack that armor immediately after the weekend, to cleanse that weekend after it comes on. Even if their cooldowns are waiting there, just using these opportunities for armor to kind of challenge every single one makes Wonder Woman such a strong 1v1 character, as we're showcasing here.
Oh, and that remote bomb actually might cause some issues, but okay, actually using some hurt spot shifting on that down special to sneak over that, and now Batman gets the grappling hook, and now both of them are outplaying each other, trying to stay one step ahead, one little bit at a time, but finds that and finds the knockout. ZD was just licking his chops saying, okay, I know you have to come down here eventually. The platform's going to come through or you're going to come through. Either way, I'm waiting for my big hit to get you off the top. And ZD takes game number 1 in this best of 5 set.
Now you can kind of see it in ZD's face here, just kind of like, yeah, of course that gets a connection. And Z almost looking a little bit frustrated, still very focused, obviously, inside the game, but just there's a little bit of concern on the face, almost like Z wasn't necessarily expecting that to have happened there.
Yeah, that is one of those moments. I've seen ZD do that a lot of times. In Smash Ultimate especially, but just kind of stand there, wait for the opponent to come to him and just up smash. And that was the equivalent of that in, Multiversus. So it's something that once you get hit by once, it takes a second to kind of get mentally readjusted to. It's just like, that was, what's happening?
Now, I believe that is actually a fighting game term. I believe the term is actually known as yomi, which is a term that kind of comes from, obviously, the Japanese language. It's the thought process of understanding the mind of the opponent. The idea that you know what that opponent is going to have to do, and if you just react to that, you win every which way and every single time. I think we saw an expert level amount of yomi coming out from ZD there, and understanding exactly what Z would have to do, and understanding when Z was going to have to cleanse, understanding when Z was going to have to go ahead and stack that armor, and kind of understanding how Z was going to react and playing to that as opposed to playing against the Wonder Woman. That level of play I really do enjoy watching, and being able to see it inside of a new platformer, specifically like Multiversus, is such a treat.
Hmm. Yep, and that comes from the years of experience that ZD had between Smash 4 and Ultimate. Guy's been out there, one of the top ranked players in the area for a long time, and those skills transfer over. It's not always a one-to-one, but they do transfer over a fair bit. As we get into our game number 2 on Cromulons, very dangerous stage for both players. I'm pretty sure whoever gets hit on the bottom part, both of them have strings long enough to really make them feel it, as we saw right there. Not quite as long as they might have wanted, but we got another chance.
Decent amount of damage. 48% is nothing to scoff at. That is more percentage than Wonder Woman was able to rack up previously on Sky platform. So wow, 89% is a nasty amount to be at, especially when you take a Wonder Woman sword to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, already, as we said before, Batman being so light means that you can't afford to be taking all that damage, because now you're just one forward air, one punch away from potentially being down a stock, and you're out of resources. You have to grapple, and Z. Oh, actually, I don't know if that's
playing ping pong right now, just absolutely attacking. What's interesting is I actually don't know if ZD got their grabs back either until they touched that ledge from that grappling hook. That was a very dangerous situation from ZD, and a lot of respect for ZD being able to recover under such insane circumstances.
Yeah.
Very first ring out goes over to Z, putting them one ring out away from victory and tying up this set 1-1. But at 59% in a precarious situation off the edge, they do have to contend with a fully fresh minted Batman ready for a fight.
Yeah, with all that dodge meter as well, using those options to approach and create some strings. So, I mean, Wonder Woman has to get in there to get some hits. And, great outplay on that grapple hook right there. Grapple hook is pretty reactable. I mean, Batman will be coming to you after it connects. So, if you get that read on that, you can make some big plays, as Z does right there, has to grapple right there. And, not finding that side air to get the finish.
I was incredibly concerned about Z there. I almost expected Batman to come down with that down air, and I'm very happy that we didn't see that crazy Doom-esque kick come down to the secure. Just like right there into the up air. Dangerous situation for Z. Now they are each at one knockout apiece, and very, very dangerous territory. Batman obviously 53% over Wonder Woman right now, but Wonder Woman very quickly making sure to secure that even higher. This is a very, very, very contested match right now.
Yeah, absolutely electric, as both these players, I mean, 5 stacks a weekend, that's a huge opportunity for ZD to get some damage in on Z, but no hits are coming through at all as the side special comes through, clears that space, and now looks like Z is just kind of rearing up for the big finish, trying to find that whip, not finding anything, but 113. ZD might be on borrowed time right here, Sharpie. And as I say it, so it shall be.
Very nice down air. Beautiful down air there by ZD. I'm sorry, for Z. Yeah, you did warn me beforehand. You said there were going to be a lot of Zs inside of this match. And when I said that, I thought you meant you're just tired. You wanted a bunch of Zs. I didn't realize it was the player concern that you were worried about, but I get it. Fantastic play there by Z, and a really, really fantastic clean down air to secure that very last match. We're hoping, personally, I am hoping that Z is able to keep this energy up going into this very next set. And while I do think that Batman is in a very, very, very strong position going into this final game of the set, it's going to be interesting to see if Z is able to keep the mental fortitude needed to secure this one.
Yep, that's the million-dollar question right there. I mean, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And games like these take a lot of stamina, especially, in the counter pick war as well. We're often to Sky Arena no plats, which is basically ZD playing Fox on Final Destination at this point. It's just going to be him trying to keep the juggles going and trying to assert dominance over the opponent in terms of pressure and maintaining center stage control. Z just trying to weather the storm at the moment, but ZD right now, Sharpie, is finding a lot of these hits.
It's really interesting, too, that ZD chose to go ahead and counterpick to no platforms, because I think this is actually a stage that Batman excels heavily on without any Batmans to have to worry about basically ledge guarding against or having to recover onto and just being able to move freely. Batman really does excel, and we're kind of seeing it here. Just, oh my goodness, Wonder Woman already at 88%. No shields to worry about here, but Amazonian Shadow at 50%. Batman almost appears to be playing ping pong at certain points of times after getting a touch.
Yeah, it's looking so difficult to approach at all. We see ZD playing very patient, just throwing out that battering and just winning neutral based solely off of that. Z burning a big cooldown right there with a whip. So now ZD, actually able to get the hit on the battering right there, but in terms of just how to get in there, Z is looking a little lost, and ZD looking very comfortable, not quite able to get the finish right there, but we're just one more down air or one more up special away from potentially seeing a huge lead. But ZD starting to kind of fall by the wayside, not getting these finish right now, Sharpie.
Yeah, you're seeing a little bit of what appears to be a mental fatigue coming out from Z. A lot of moves coming out a little bit earlier than I think Z expects them, just kind of rushing through a lot of these moves, understanding what needs to be done, doing it a little bit faster than unfortunately needs to actually happen, resulting in it kind of whiffing. And ZD is kind of reading that, just waiting to react. A lot of what we saw inside the previous match, and I'm somewhat disappointed to say it, looks as though we're starting to see Z kind of fall into that emotional fatigue that we usually see inside of previous matches.
Yeah, on top of that, ZD is a player that kind of does that to people, though. Like, you have to make so many decisions so quickly when it comes to playing neutral against him that when it comes to conversions, you know, he's already DIing a certain way or already kind of making you second guess. But oh, that was a great trade right there.
Fantastic.
Z turning on the afterburner, saying, I'm still very much in this. Let's go into our final stop. We are moving right now.
Really liked that conversion. I would have loved to see Z finish that off there, but ZD moving forward immediately and forcing Wonder Woman to kind of play a little bit more defensively very, very quickly, which kind of speaks to a testament of the way that ZD forces you to change the way that you approach the game. Z having to very, very quickly move between offensive and defensive in almost a few moments, and just that strain really is starting to weigh on them inside of some of these match setups.
Yeah, I mean, this is not where you want it to happen. Okay, the grappling hook could spell problems. The battering,
Prove me wrong, Z, please. Oh, ZD securing it with that up air is going to go ahead and move ZD forward inside the bracket. Oh, I apologize. I believe this is actually a best of... Is this a best of 5?
We were told it was best of 5, but looks like they're trying to get some confirmation on that, and... Yep.
Yes, it looks like it is going to be a best of 5, meaning that Z still has another opportunity to come back in here and bring it back, and we've seen Z do it before. I'm really hoping that Z just kind of basically washes off what happened inside that last match, possibly counterpicks to a stage, either with with walls, or very possibly with platforms. I think would actually secure them a bit more time to recover and approach against ZD inside of the situation. I really think that is tantamount here. Batcave, a fantastic cave, fantastic stage, I think, for Wonder Woman here. A lot of hazards. Those cars obviously create a fantastic little bounce opportunity for Wonder Woman to kind of exploit when it comes to certain combos. And of course, the low ceiling means that those down airs, every single one is going to be incredibly important to racking up that percentage.
Yeah, this pick basically says, I'm heavier than you, I can scrap longer than you, and I bet that I can get to a relatively even percent before, you know, you can kind of get the ring out on me. So. And
I really agree with that counter pick decision from Z here. Really, really hoping that Z comes out on top.
Yeah, Great Cleanse getting rid of the Bat Bomb and the weakened stacks as well. So both of them kind of scrapping center stage. Batman trying to remain in the cloud as long as possible, but you're going to have to come out of there eventually and get some of those hits, as ZD does right there. Great down normal right there, and almost gets a snipe with the Batarang to get the knockout from the bottom. That would have been a play and a half right there.
Oh my goodness, beautiful up air by that Batman, and a grappling hook, immediate dodge, immediate armor, and now that that armor is being used, Batman immediately gets a little bit of damage out there, securing that. That almost looked like it was going to be a knockout, J-Dog.
It almost was. And I mean, right now, ZD is trying to get that knockout first. Not quite fast enough to get the up special off the bomb explosion. And now ZD maybe fishing for their finishing options, whereas Z just absolutely fishing for blood and going to find that up air and gets the KO off the top. Amazing comeback right there from Z, and ZD evens us right back up.
Batarang setup coming right back at you with yet another knockout. Score is completely even in terms of knockouts right now, but if ZD does secure another knockout, that is going to move them forward to grand finals and push Z into losers. Z has to go ahead and get another knockout in order to stay inside of this set.
Yeah, now ZD just trying to play around the Batarang cooldowns. Okay, great pickup right there. Gets the snipe, and there's actually a really bad situation. Yeah, Z able to get back on safely, but now the bomb is on you, so you're gonna have to force an off recovery. Yeah, you had to hit him right there, because otherwise, you might have been, you know, comboed off the explosion right there.
Yep, very, very low dodge meter on the Wonder Woman right now. Does get weak and has to worry about how high you're flying, but luckily Wonder Woman is very hefty. Doesn't come down without some scrapping.
Okay. And
That was
all
that
this is
dive kick
bad.
we're worried about. Yup.
Oh.
Got dangerous. Dangerous. Fantastic edge guard there by Batman. ZD does move forward and to grand finals on the winner side, pushing Z into losers right there. J-Dog, can we talk a little bit about some of that absolutely beautiful Batman play we saw?
Yeah, I love to see that. Shades of ZD's Fox right there, because a lot of Batman, as strong as that character is, I will not take any downplaying. As strong as that character is, a lot of times Batman kind of play to their own pace and only think about their own buttons, about what only they can do. ZD did that, but also kind of hung back when he needed to and played around the cooldowns of Z very well. We saw the return batter